welcome back to the channel. And this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a hidden traitor board game. We're going to be talking about The Thing, the board game. And in this game you will be attempting to escape an Antarctic outpost without getting assimilated into the Thing, and that will allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We're telling you what we do like, we don't like. We'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not The Thing, the board game, is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See ya after this. Bollocks. So, The Thing, the board game. How'd you play this game? So, The Thing, the board game is a hidden traitor game that closely follows the plot mechanisms of the 1982 John Carpenter movie, right? Each player is going to be taking on the role of one of the main characters of the movie. You'll get a player sheet and each player will have their own special ability that is unique to them. So you might have McCready, and his ability says when you're in the armory and you're assigned a use action card, you may draw 3 cards, keep 1 and discard the other 2. Or you might have Clark, he's the geezer that picks up all the dog shit, and it says you ignore all dogs in your location. Or you might have Bennins, and it says when you are in the weather station and you're assigned a use action card, you roll the weather die twice and may choose the preferred outcome, right? So each of these special abilities is actually pretty decent, and when you play this game you'll be thinking, shit, I wish we had that guy on our team because that special ability would really help, yeah? So this game is structured into different phases. It's 8 different phases that you're going to be following in a regimented fashion. The first phase of the game is the weather phase. You'll roll the weather die and you'll consult the chart on the board, and then you will remove a certain amount of fuel from both the boiler and the generator room, and if you have sent the SOS message then you'll move the helicopter that number of spaces, right? Sending the SOS and getting the helicopter to pick you up is one of the ways to win the game. You win the game by escaping on that helicopter. You can win the game by repairing and fueling up the snowcat and escaping on that, or you can escape on the internal helicopter by repairing it and fueling it up, right? You'll lose the game if you escape and you leave any human players behind, or you take any players that are the Thing with you, right? So the next phase is the alien action phase. This is where the aliens that have exposed themselves will take their actions. Obviously if there's no exposed aliens then you won't be doing this phase, but basically what you'll be doing, the aliens will take their alien strength tokens, they'll secretly choose any number of locations from the location deck and they'll put their alien strength tokens on that location, right? And these will be revealed. You'll place the alien strength tokens in that location. This will bugger up the plans of the non-Thing characters. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw action cards up to your hand limit. 3 different types of action cards. You've got the use action card, the repair action card, and you've got the sabotage action card. Your hand limit is 3, but if you are hungry then it will go down to 2. So after you've done this then you'll move your character to a specific location. Each location has a unique action. There'll be a use action and there'll be a sabotage action, and some of the locations will have repair icons, and if they ever get a full quota of repair tokens on them then something bad, very bad, is going to happen. When you move your character to a location you'll also have to choose one of your cards from your hand and you'll hand it to the leader and they'll stick it on the board. The leader will also take the top card from the action card deck and stick it on there, just to maybe fool people into thinking that somebody put that sabotage card in there when in fact it came off the top of the deck, right? If you ever move to a space where there is another character or where there's a dog, then you'll have to have an encounter. This generally takes the form of a contagion check. If you're in a space with a dog you'll have to reach into the doggy bag and you'll pull out one of the tokens. If it's an alien dog you won't show anybody the token. You'll have to take your roll cards under the table, you have to switch them around and put the Thing card under your player mat, right? Similarly, if you're in a space as another character, if you're the Thing you'll have to choose either 2 human tokens or 1 alien token and a human token, but if you're a human you have to choose 2 tokens, and then you will choose one of the tokens and then secretly look at it, and then the other player will do the same thing, and then you'll adjust your roll dependent on what you see, right? So this is a way for the Thing to assimilate human characters. So once that's done then the leader will draw at least 1 card from the deck that is on the leader card and they will assign it to a character. This is where you'll be able to use the locations of the rooms, right? So we're not going to go through all the rooms because that would take absolutely bloody ages, but we'll run through a few of them just to give you a taster of what they do. So if you go to the armory, this is where you're going to get weapons from. There is a flamethrower in there. If you draw the flamethrower, you have to reveal it straight away, and if you've got the flamethrower and the wire, then this allows allows you to burn down different rooms if the boiler gets destroyed. If the boiler gets destroyed, then you'll have to put the freezing card into play. And if the skull icon ever gets to the end, then everybody is going to freeze to death. So if you go to the base helicopter, you will move one fuel token from the external reserve, or you'll try and escape. If you want to escape, you'll have to be given a use card by the leader. And if the helicopter is fully repaired and fueled up, then you'll be able to trigger the end of the game. This is the same for the Snowcat and sort of the same for the external helicopter, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So if you go to the laboratory, you'll be able to reach into the blood bag and pull out a token. Depending on what you get, you'll be able to discard it. If you pull out a busted blood bag, you can discard it face down. But if you've got a functional blood bag, you'll be able to use this in the test phase. So all of these spaces have unique actions. It's sort of like putting out fires in some respects, and there's never enough actions to go round. So you're constantly going to be shitting bricks and cursing yourselves as to why you didn't go to the kitchen to get some food, and instead you went to the boiler room but didn't get the repair card, right? So once all the players have taken all of their actions, then everyone will go back to the leisure room, and this is where you'll start accusing people of being a bloody alien, right? If you want to accuse somebody, you will basically count to 3 and everyone will point at who they think the alien is, and then if you get accused of being an alien, then you will move your marker up on the suspicion track. Only the player who is at the top of the suspicion track can be tested using a blood bag, but then anybody on the suspicion track, apart from the people in the green space, can have the blood test via the wire and the flamethrower, right? This is also an opportunity for the alien to expose themselves, and I've heard that the alien has only got a 3-inch penis, a bit like you. I promise we're almost done with this. I did say it was going to be a brief overview, but it's actually turned into sort of like a Bible reading session when you're on a bog. So once you've done that, you will have to feed your family like Agricola. I suppose this is an Antarctic Agricola experience, isn't it? So yeah, you will have to remove 2 food from the kitchen. You get food in there from the pantry by going to the kitchen. If the roller skating chef is in the house, then you'll only have to remove 1, right? And then what you do, you'll do the dog movement. You'll reveal a location for each dog that's not in the kennel, and you'll move it to that location. Remember that if you're in the same space as a dog, there's a sort of semi-good chance that you could be assimilated into the thing. It's a good idea to either avoid the dogs or pair up, in which case you'll be able to put a dog back in a kennel. Another thing you could do if there's another player in your location is you get a cooperation bonus, and this means you'll be able to take the action twice for each person that's in that location. That is huge. Right, so that's all of the phases. If you sent the SOS signal, then when you roll the weather die, the external helicopter will move along its track. If it gets to the end, then you can escape via that method. But after you've sent the SOS message, the fuel token will move 1 space to the right, and if it gets to the end, then they will fuck off without you. They're not going to risk running out of fuel and crashing and burning like those stupid Norwegians at the beginning of the movie. So you can do the same thing in the Snowcat and in the internal helicopter, right? You'll need keys to get away via the helicopter or the Snowcat, right? You'll find these in the action deck by going to the warehouse, and then what you do, the player that activates that spot, they'll look at where they are on the suspicion track. They'll decide whether or not they want to invite the player who is next going downwards on the suspicion track to join them, right? If they decide they want to join them, this player will reveal their role card if they're the thing that everybody loses, and if they're not, if they're human, then they'll go on to the next player, and you'll keep doing this until either you've invited a thing or you haven't. If you leave anybody behind, you'll lose the game, but if all the humans escape and you haven't left anyone behind, or the thing isn't invited on the method of escape, then the players will win the game, right? Fuck's sake, I ain't doing that again. So what do we like about the thing, the board game? So the first thing that we really like about this game is it's an accurate or semi-accurate portrayal of the movie, right? A lot of the plot mechanisms and the plot twists that were portrayed in the 1982 movie are quite faithfully translated into this board game using some decent mechanisms, right? You've got the flamethrower in there, you've got all the different ways to escape. I know nobody actually escaped in the 1982 movie. It was a spoiler if you ain't seen it. Sorry about that. We haven't played the Outpost 31 game, and we haven't played Who Goes There, but it doesn't seem like they can get any more accurate than this game. So yeah, that's got to be applauded, isn't it? The next thing that we really like about this game is it's got a cascading number of traitors. The fact that other players can secretly turn into the thing and then reveal themselves differs from games like Battlestar Galactica and Shadows over Camelot, where the traitor is predetermined at the beginning of the game, right? This reminds us a little bit of a Canadian game called Escape from Sunset Island. In that game, one player will start as a zombie, and when they land on the same space as another player, they will infect that player and they will become a zombie. And in the end, you could have up to 11 zombies running around the map trying to chomp the balls off the last remaining player. And it's the sort of same thing with this one, yeah? So it does introduce quite a novel mechanic where, as the game progresses, you could could have more aliens than you've got fingers. The final thing that we really like about this game is the amount of discussion and accusations that takes place during the game. In fact, there is a specific phase dedicated to this. It's like you've got a mini game of One Night Ultimate Werewolf deliberately plonked into the middle of each round. So yeah, it's almost like you've got like a little mini game where everyone will have a discussion, be throwing accusations and insults at each other, accusing people of doing this and lying about that, and then you'll have the luxury of sticking a finger up someone's arsehole as a metaphor. So what don't we like about the Thing, the board game? So the first thing that we don't like about this game is that the rulebook is absolutely fucking shit. One of the worst rulebooks that we have ever seen. It's even worse than the first edition Robinson Crusoe rulebook, which is saying something, right? There's so many unclear rules, it doesn't really make any sense. The layout sucks. And I found myself tearing out what little air I've got left. You can go on the internet. Somebody's made a fan edit that clears up a lot of this shit. And there's also loads of little cheat sheets that you can get, rule summaries that try and clarify the mess that is the rulebook, right? But that doesn't excuse the fact that, who was it, Pendragon or something, have produced one of the worst pieces of shit rulebooks ever made by human being. So the second thing that we hate about this game is the fact that you've got player elimination, right? Somebody did say to me that they would rather play Nemesis. They're two different games, but both do contain player elimination. The chances of player elimination in Nemesis are infinitely greater than this. In fact, I haven't seen player elimination in this game yet, but it can happen. But if it happens early, the rulebook does say that you will still win the game because you're still considered human. But who wants to sit there twiddling their thumbs? You might as well go upstairs and have a crafty wank. So the final thing that we don't like about this game is that there's too much random determination for certain mechanics, right? If you end up in the same space as a dog, for instance, it's just a matter of reaching into a bag and drawing out a random token. It sort of sucks in a way. It's just a cheap mechanic and it could have been dealt with in a better way. I'm not a games designer, but reaching into a bag, drawing out a random token is a load of bollocks. Likewise, when you're drawing the action cards and distributing them, you've got to shuffle them, right? But you're still drawing a random card. And obviously the chances of you getting the cards back in the order that you provided them to the leader is slim to none. So it might be the case that a lot of the actions are wasted and there's nothing in the game that allows you to mitigate this. It might have been a nice idea if the characters could have had a special ability or something like that, but it's not there. And as such, there's just that little bit too much randomness in this game for my liking, right? So to summarise, is the Thing, the board game, worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say, yeah, we're having an absolute blast with this game. It is a truly excellent hidden traitor experience that not only follows the plot of the movie quite accurately, but also has some quite novel mechanics thrown in for good measure, right? It is hampered by one of the worst rulebooks that I've seen in my 40 plus years of playing board games, right? But this is mitigated by you having to do some actual work for once in your fucking life and going on the internet and downloading a fan edit of the rulebook that clears up most of the muck that has been spread by the publisher. So yeah, it's highly recommended by us, right? We do like playing the Thing, the board game. The more people you've got playing this, it plays up to 8. If you can get 8 players, you're going to have a better experience than if you're playing with 4. We haven't played it solo or with 3 players. I've heard that the experience is quite dumbed down and not as effective. But if you're looking for a tense hidden traitor game with lots of discussion, lots of laughs, lots of banter, then this might just be the game for you. So there you go. That is the Thing, the board game. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the like button. All that YouTube bullshit. See you next time.